What is going on, guys? This is Iron Noobs coming back at you with another Neverwinter video. This is gonna probably be a longer video than most of my videos that I put out, but yesterday I put out the weekend event, or the what is going on, the Neverwinter weekend update for this weekend's events going on in Neverwinter, and I left. I'm not gonna lie, I rushed that video out. I apologize for that. I didn't do a whole lot of research into what was going on with patch notes and everything like that. And one of the first comments I got on the video was some of the most important information that I left out for the patch notes and things like that. So we're going to talk about a little bit of that today. And then also, if you're unaware, Mod 15 has so many changes in it that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. I think I might. Some people might not. We're going to talk about basically a lot of the changes going on in Mod 15. You're basically just going to see some background footage of me running Tong and probably dying quite a bit. But so to start it off, a lot of the things that, well, some of the patch notes that were fixed was companion tokens. So, and I guess this was on Xbox and PS4. I never noticed it on PC, so maybe that's one of the reasons that I kind of just didn't even think about it. But previously, you weren't able to trade your companion upgrade tokens. Apparently, you weren't allowed to use them in the shared bank, so that is fixed now. So for people that have been waiting to transfer some of their companion upgrade tokens over in their shared bank, congratulations, you can now do that. Also, companion enchantments were actually fixed. So apparently, the double stat enchantments weren't working properly. Once again, maybe it's something that I never noticed. I'm not an elitist, so I don't sit back and analyze the damage output that I increase when my companion brutals tick off my gift of the companion. So there's that. So that's also pretty good. That's probably going to start helping a lot of DPS classes and anybody that runs some decent double stats in their companions enchantments. I run 3 rank 13 bondings, and then I run rank 10 brutals, I believe, in my companion, so that's pretty nice. Some of the big changes going on in Mod 15, obviously we know we're getting a profession rework. So this week over on the consoles, on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you have a double seals event, and a lot of people were stating that they're going to hold on to their guild marks. Not a double seals event. We're talking about the guild mark 20% off. I apologize for that. People are talking about they're going to hold on to their guild marks because we're not sure if basically farming maps is going to still be a thing with the profession rework. So I am currently selling my my materials from the last time I farmed maps. I'll probably make a video once it all sells, because I wanted to make an update video, because that goes back to my small, mid, and long-term investment video. If you haven't checked that out, I'll leave a description for that down in the I'll leave it. I'm sorry, guys. I'll leave a link in the description for that video. So a lot of people are talking about holding on to their guild marks until Mod 15 comes out. I guess you can. I'm probably not gonna, because materials could end up skyrocketing. I mean, I hold about 20,000 guild marks at the moment, so it's not like it's a big deal to me. But there's that. That's going to be, obviously, the profession rework is going to be a huge change. It's going to be something we're going to have to get used to. I don't personally deal with professions at the moment, so I don't know how much it's going to affect me. I might end up getting into professions if it turns out to be a pretty good change. So some of the other big changes going on in Mod 15 are your legendary, not your legendary keys, but your standard and epic dungeon keys. Basically, our dungeon keys are going to no longer exist. They're going to be traded over to reroll tokens, and it looks like, I think, from what I was reading, you're going to be able to use reroll tokens up to 4 times per dungeon chest per day. So like if you run Temple of the Spider and you open up your chest and you don't like what you see, you have 4 rerolls for that dungeon for that day. But if you go in after that and run a Tong, then I believe, the way I'm understanding it, you're going to have 4 rerolls for that chest as well for that day. So that might, I'm a little bit worried about that, just because for people that farm Tong constantly like that, you're talking about getting a chance, 5 chances essentially, to basically get UESs, which, yeah, it's good for the people that are farming them, but I think it might be a flood in the market, because basically you run 1 Tong and you have the opportunity to not receive all 5 rewards, but 5 chances to receive a UES for the day. So not really sure how that's going to work out. That's just something we'll have to kind of see. Also, with that, a lot of rough Astral Diamond changes are going to be coming into the game. So all the gear that we receive from running salvage runs isn't going to be salvageable anymore. Salvaging is no longer going to exist in the game. That one I'm a little... once again, it's going to be one of those things where we're just going to have to play it by ear and see what happens, because basically they're taking out salvageable equipment. You're still going to receive the equipment, it's just not going to be salvageable for rough AD anymore. But to combat that, basically every chest or every dungeon that we run, you're going to be able to open the chest for free, and you're basically going to receive rough Astral Diamonds from that. Your seals that you get from the dungeons, you can still trade it in for the gear, but you won't be able to salvage the gear, but you can trade those seals directly in for rough AD as well. Also, things like heroic encounters and just some of the smaller things that most people don't do, you're going to be able to receive rough AD for. So I think they're basically trying to open up more of the game to people, instead of, just daily farming salvage. So I think that's going to be kind of cool, because that does get really boring sometimes when you're trying to just get some rough AD for the day and you have to run Temple of the Spider over and over again and Castle Never over and over again. I do like farming dungeons, but it'll be nice to know that I don't just have to farm dungeons to receive rough AD. And then, like I said, with your seals that you're still going to receive, you can straight up buy rough AD. I don't know how much it's going to be yet, if it's going to basically be the same as if you were trading it in for the gear and salvaging it. We'll just have to see how that goes. So with that, that's going to be a VIP change. They're going to be removing the salvage anvil, and it's going to be replaced with a seal trader, which I guess that's okay. It doesn't really bother me too much. Now, the equipment that you receive in these dungeons from, running salvage runs, you're still going to have a chance to receive that equipment, and you're still going to get that equipment out of the chest. But instead of it being able to be salvaged, its main purpose is going to be, if you're not using it to gear alts, it's going to be to get refinement points. Now, this one is a big thing for me, because that's how I make most of my Astral Diamonds, is through refining. The only thing that worries me is that there's going to be such an abundance of refinement points, and if we end up having a huge flow of UESs and things like that coming into the game, refining enchantments we may end up getting a huge influx of refined enchantments, and that may end up killing one of the ways that I personally make Astral Diamonds. But I'll have to think outside of the box beyond that point and find out what I'm going to do next to continue making rough Astral Diamonds. And still pretty much talking about keys, legendary keys are still going to work. This is just specifically for your standard and epic dungeon keys. So if you are VIP, like I'm VIP rank 12, so I receive 3 epic dungeon keys per day. There's no actual statement on how many it's going to be. I'm going to assume that it's the same as the keys, and if it is, then I'm going to receive 3 reroll tokens per day. And I'm also curious if we're going to be able to finally trade those between characters, because I have some alts that have 500-600 keys on them right now because I don't use them to farm AD. I specifically use them for the invoke bonus, which is then also going to come into account with the mod 15 changes, because you're still going to receive your bonus AD for invoking, but since there's no more salvage, I think a lot of alts are going to start farming some dungeons. If it's the way I think it's going to be, then basically you're going to be able to hop onto an alt and pretty much spam maybe some low level like tier 1 dungeons, maybe even, you know, not even actual tiered dungeons, but like cloak tower and stuff, which if that ends up becoming the case, then it just becomes another cloak tower grind every day. But if it is going to be tier 1s like Shores of Torn and stuff like that, you're going to be able to get on that low level character that or level 70 alt. You'll be able to get on a lower item level alt and possibly run that stuff to use up your bonus rough astral diamonds. I'm not sure. We'll see how that plays through as well. So, but your legendary keys are still going to be safe, because I actually buy quite a bit of legendary keys because I'm constantly farming Castle Never. I think I've ran that dungeon over 700 times, and the Shard of Orcus 1 does not exist, people. So, actually, my wife's pulled it 3 times, and I've never pulled it. But getting off topic there, something else in the patch notes that I left earlier that's going to make a lot of people happy is Castle Ravenloft. Everybody knows how buggy Castle Ravenloft is. I personally have not even ran Castle Ravenloft, not once. I finished the campaign and I haven't even messed with it. But apparently there were a lot of bugs that have been patched on PC, on Xbox, and on PS4, so that's basically pretty good. A little ninja update for everybody that's into running Castle Ravenloft. Still talking about the rough astral diamonds, all your existing sources of gaining rough astral diamonds, such as your over levels receiving the 30k, which if you have bonus rad, you're going to receive 45k. Your over levels, running things, you know, stuff like that. All of that stuff's still gonna be in the game. It's not like it's disappearing. So any way that you're receiving besides salvage, it looks like that's still all gonna stay in the game, so that's pretty decent. And then a lot of people are worried with the dungeons, with the chests now being changed, that the loot tables are going to be changed. We're going to get worse loot, causing us to want to use these reroll tokens. But to my understanding, there is no knowledge of any of the loot tables being changed. One big thing that I would love to see changed in this game is the bind on account and bind on pickup type stuff. I get so many mounts and artifacts and really cool stuff. I open up the chest and I'm like, heck yeah. And then I realize it's bind on equip. Or not bind on equip, bind on account and bind on pickup. And it's like, man, I don't need this. You know, I want to sell it to somebody that's going to give me some freaking astral diamonds for it. So that kind of sucks. I am hoping that maybe we'll see some kind of change where they'll kind of get away from the bind on account type stuff until it's equipped. And then last but not least, the thing that everybody has been waiting for, Nova put out a video earlier. It was basically like a conference call with one of the lead designers from Cryptic, and I want to give him, you know, his credit where it's due because it's where I heard about it. But the old dungeons coming back, it is out in the forums about the old dungeons coming back, but specifically in Nova's talk with one of the designers, he talks about it's going to be in an event style type way. It's not going to be so much like Castle Never, where you can just queue for these older dungeons. Basically, the way the guy was explaining it is that it's going to be an event where a certain dungeon is going to be unlocked for a certain amount of time, and you can go out and run that dungeon, and then after that certain amount of time, another dungeon is going to get unlocked, and you're able to go out and run that dungeon. So a lot of changes for Mod 15, and I'm honestly excited about them. I can't wait to see what actually happens over the next couple of weeks, what kind of information gets reported out over the next couple of weeks. I'm super excited to see what's going to happen. I am a little worried with some of the things, but if you've watched any of my other AD making videos, you know that rough astral diamonds, that's not how the rich get rich. It's by playing these events, and it's by thinking outside of the box. 100K a day isn't going to make you a millionaire overnight. So, also, like I said earlier, I am selling my materials from my investment video. As soon as all of that stuff sells, I'll be making an update video on that. I just want to know what you guys think. I want to apologize for rushing the Neverwinter weekend video out yesterday. I was busy, and I'm trying to get those videos out to you on Thursday while you still have the entire weekend to take the knowledge away from them and use it to your advantage. But this was some big stuff that I left out, and I apologize for slacking on that. So I'm sorry about that, guys, but I'm trying to do as much research on everything that's going on. I'm going to leave a link down in the description about basically all the changes that are happening as far as the keys and stuff like that go, the salvage and dungeon chests, and just let me know what you guys think about it. One of the biggest things that I'm actually happy about, I guess, is the way they came out, and I'm going to read just a little paragraph from their post. Like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But it states, "We aren't trying to say this will boost for all players and that rad will be overly abundant from these changes. For some play styles and AD generation methods, the amount of rad generated will decrease, and some play styles will inevitably change. We want to be straightforward about this, and also wanted to give plenty of a heads up so that players can both salvage all of their saved up equipment before this goes live and start figuring out what changes they will need to make to their playstyle." So that right there, that's a big deal to me, because for people like me that used to use trade bars to buy nightmare equipment, that was like an overnight change that nobody ever talked about. They just kind of ninja snuck it in during one of the updates, and it really pissed me off, because I would save up trade bars and wait until I had a pretty decent amount of trade bars. I think when that went live, I had over 4,000 trade bars. That was just like blah, you know. So I'm really glad that they are being honest about that change and giving us the opportunity to do something about it. Also, quoting them again, one of the questions that I haven't seen asked yet is, you know, me as a VIP, I get a VIP salvage bonus, but now I can't salvage anymore. So what about VIP salvage bonus? And I'm going to quote this. It says, "That has been turned into a bonus to rough astral diamonds from dungeon in chest, heroic encounters, and experience overflow rewards." Meaning that, let's say that a tier 1 dungeon and I don't know these numbers at all, but let's say that a tier 1 dungeon is going to give a normal player 5,000 rough astral diamonds. Well, I'm going to receive 5,500 from that because of my VIP salvage bonus. So that's going to be, I'm glad that I'm still getting something for my VIP. A lot of people were worried that VIP is going to get nerfed because of it, and it doesn't look like it's really happening that way. Also, I want to add one last thing before I end this video. For the free-to-play players, I think this is great for you guys, because they stayed in there that it was almost impossible. They didn't want you to go run a dungeon and have to spend 5,000 astral diamonds to buy a key to open a chest that was going to give you 2,200 rough AD back. So that's one of the big things that they're doing this for. All the chests, every chest is going to be free to open from now on. Not every chest, I'm sorry. Every regular chest in a dungeon. You're still going to have your legendary chest where you need a legendary key to open up, or a campaign key, depending on what you're running. But regular chests are going to be free to open up. And that's why I was talking about, basically, I think that the alts were gonna start getting played more, because I have 8 characters that are level 70. I play Pretty much on 2 or 3 of them. I play my healer, my paladin, and my GWF, but I really just only get on my paladin and my GWF when I'm messing around and when I'm tired of running on my healer. But for all my other alts, for my 5 other alts, they're constantly at 100k bonus AD because all I use them for is to salvage. So, but I might go ahead and gear them up with some cheap primal gear, maybe some cheap Barovia gear, and start running, you know, Shores of Torn, because now I have a free chest that's going to give me Astral diamonds straight up. So that's going to be pretty cool. Another thing that worries me about that, though, is when Mod 14 came out, Barovia, there were so many new players that didn't know what they were doing, but they were able to start queuing for Castle Never and had never been in there, and you'd spend so much time trying to explain to them how to get through the green balls, or they were, you know, trying to run it like it was a regular dungeon, and they'd run into a bunch of mobs and get killed. So I hope that's not the case when Mod 15 drops. We'll just have to play it by ear and see. Also, on that topic, I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but the random intermediate queue has been boosted up to 9,000 item level. So there's another little sneaky update that the Ninja crew got in there. Other than that, like I said, this is about as much information that I've done so far, that I found so far. You're more than welcome to research some more information. I plan on doing the same. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button for me. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I put out Neverwinter related. And until the next one, this is Iron Noobs saying peace.